Hello friends and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick and today we're going to be checking out something called Moirai by Chris Johnson, Brad Barrett, and John Oestmann. This is a bit of a concept piece, perhaps something a bit off the beaten path, and I think this is more going to be some sort of a different experiment in conveying meaning or perhaps conveying a concept than it is necessarily a game. And if you've been with the channel for a while, you'll be pretty familiar with it. This is a pretty commonplace thing to have happen here. I like to look for games that are a little bit off the beaten path like this, and when I use game, I use it sort of colloquially, so hopefully everybody's fine with that. But we're just going to press space to start and get right into things and learn a little bit about this pretty happy-looking town that sits in front of us here. So we control with the arrow keys or WASD, and we have, I believe, spacebar to interact with things. And this is all the space that we get. The game doesn't seem to run in 60 frames per second, or at least that's my experience. It seems to run in 40, so pardon a little bit of choppiness here. But I think that might be for artistic effect. I think we're trying to evoke perhaps a certain type of emotion from the world that we're walking around within. So let's talk to this priest character here. My prayers go out to poor Julia. It's been a year since her husband has passed. She hasn't been seen all day. I imagine she is grieving. Do you mind visiting her at her home? It's the house to the right as you leave town. Of course I don't mind. I'll definitely visit her on the way out or wherever I'm going. I don't actually know who I am in this world yet, so we'll find out. Need to stay close to Mama, otherwise she'll worry that we've run off. Okay, what does Mama say? Oh, I guess we're still talking to him. Did you hear about the boy? Julia lost her son in the cave shortly after her husband died. Poor Julia. So Julia's had a pretty rough run of things. I would never let my boys out of my sight. And then there's a girl here who says, sometimes Daddy lets us pat the sheep on the head. They're so soft. Alright, very nice. And do they repeat dialogue? Yes, they do. Okay. So let's check out some of these buildings here. It looks like we could probably go into each of these cabins. Oh, there's a man inside with a surprisingly flat bed, which actually seems to be butted right up against the wall. That's the chef, it looks like. Okay. It looks like a lovely day outside. You should head out to the farm if you get the chance. Spend some time with the animals. Fair enough. And they just say the same thing every time. Oh, keeps turning me around. I went to go click on the door, and then it wants me to go talk to the man again. So, yeah, I gotta make sure I've got the right prompt when I go to actually use my use key. I'm really enjoying this music in the background. It's very soothing, very calming, and it makes me feel like we're in a kind of a nice, comforting place, even though it seems like perhaps some of these events so far speak to a little bit more melancholy. We'll talk to the boy. I heard there is gold in the cave, but I'm too scared to enter. They say there's a little boy that haunts over your shoulder. Ooh, that's a little creepy. Okay, well, sounds like we might be gearing up to enter this cave, and maybe we're going to find out some sort of truth after we have met all of these characters and seen where the context of the town lies. My uncle and dad are out chopping wood to keep us warm in the winter. They should be home soon. Okay. And I think she's the only person you can interact with. I keep checking to make sure there's not like some bookshelf or end table or anything like that we can touch. We'll enter this cabin. This one clearly looks like it's trying to get our attention. There doesn't seem to be anyone home in this one, and that seems to be the exception for the rest of this town. There's a picture on the shelf of a wife, husband, and a young boy. I wonder where they are. Okay, so clearly that's the story that we should be looking for Julia, who is now in a bit of duress. So there's a sign here. Can we read the sign? Yes, we can. To the farm. Alright, so to the farm we go. And we've got a bit of a, sort of like a hedge maze here, it looks like we're going through, except made out of walls. Farm. Okay, we are at a farm. Oh, and there are the sheep. And can we pat them on the head? Indeed. Alright, so all the sheep are pretty happy to be around. What about in here? Is there any... Open the barn door. The door is locked. Okay, so we have somewhere to come back to. Very simple sort of a progress gating mechanism here where we want to find out why we need to go back and who we need to talk to that's further ahead. To the cave. Alright, well, it seems like our locations are pretty well mapped out as we are already. Pick up lantern. Oh, we've got a lantern now. Oh, I didn't expect the art. Well, first of all, I didn't expect there to be art where my hand would be. Because I just kind of figured this one was, you know, the type of game where you just sort of see the viewpoint. And then I didn't also expect for it to be so high fidelity compared to everything else. My brother and I were chopping wood when we heard moans coming from the cave. My brother went in to investigate. He should have been back by now. I'm worried. Can you check on him? There's a lantern behind you on that stump. Okay, so I can go check on him and hopefully find a key, if that is indeed a thing that we need to do. Alright, so we found our... Oh, alright, well that was quick. What's going on in here? Did my brother send you? Bless him. The moans are coming from further down. I'd go in, but my sight's no good. You should take this knife. Who knows, you may need it. And the music has totally changed to a much, much more creepy soundtrack. And I'm wondering why he got this far into the cave and then didn't decide to go back out. Because his brother's right there. I mean, he's like less than 100 steps away. Maybe he's lost. That would be kind of sad for him. So I might end up lost here. We've got a bit of a labyrinthian cave ahead of us, and hopefully we're not going to get haunted by that ghost that we were told about before. We've got some bones here, and it looks like... Oh, someone must have died here. The bones look as though they are a child's. Oh. Gotcha. Well, that's certainly pretty sad. Do I want to look into this hole? I don't know. If there's a screamer, I'm going to be very sad. I can see something shiny. It's just out of my reach. I bet it's the key. But it's just out of my reach, so I'm not going to be able to get it. Maybe I need to come back with some sort of other object. So now we've got sort of a Zelda syndrome of progress gating mechanisms, where we've got the key we need, and then we need something to get to that key. But I don't know quite what yet, and I'm not sure what our role of the knife is going to be just yet. And I also don't know where I'm going, necessarily. I was never good at this style of a dungeon. Ever since the early days playing Phantasy Star on my Sega Master System. Oh. There is a blood-covered man in here, and he's not running at me, because that doesn't seem to be a thing that happens in this, but that's pretty terrifying. Are you the dude that stabs children in a cave? Because you're a pretty awful person. A farmer approaches. Okay, so we can pick one of any of these. Why do you have blood on your overalls? Why do you have a knife? I heard moans. What have you done? I don't know. Oh. Let them pass or attack. He looks pretty threatening to me. I'm gonna go with why do you have blood on your overalls? Hi, fellow mate. I was looking for a corpse and I found it. Okay. Why do you have a knife? I heard moans. What have you done? Let them pass. Attack. Why do you have a knife? I could ask you the same question. Oh, well, I don't probably have blood all over me, though. I heard moans. What have you done? There are camels. Wow, okay. Why? I guess this dude's kind of crazy. I'm gonna not let him pass, because he seems... Yeah, alright, we've stabbed him. Have we become the thing that we hate? There's a name on the farmer's overalls. Raig. So now... we've kind of changed places, haven't we? Is that the concept we were going for here? Oh. I heard a sound. What was that? I had no idea this was gonna get so atmospheric and kind of creepy, actually. Oh, geez. What? Those are the moans, and I guess that was the woman. Erg, please help me. I'm in a lot of pain. I came here to end my life. My name is Julia, and I want to see my child and husband in heaven. My husband was a miner in these caves. He spent days mining for gold, and then one day he found something. He found a golden nugget. I thought we could retire and be comfortable for the rest of our lives, but he didn't trust me. He buried the golden nugget to spite me, then he disappeared. Everyone in the town heard about our good fortune. They thought I was rich. I was so ashamed that I couldn't tell them the truth. One day my son wandered into the cave. He wanted to find his daddy. He wanted to make everything better, but he never came out of the cave. I went to look for him, but I couldn't find him. Now it's too late. Now I have nobody. Will you help me? Will you help me end my life? You've done it before. It should be easier the second time. Gonna be one of those games, is it? That's a very dark decision to make if she's already bleeding out all over the floor. Man, that's rough. I don't really want to do this, but I guess if I walk away, it's gonna even take longer. And I already killed the other guy, so I guess I'm sort of playing a character at this point. Please end it quickly. That's harsh. Man, what a sad game. I had no idea what I was getting into with this one. Now it feels like I can walk faster for some reason. But what will be the aftermath of this experience? I have no idea. There's more rats in the corners. There's the farmer that we stabbed on the way. Is there any way to get to that shiny object? I'm not sure of that. Now I'm gonna walk out of the cave and I've basically killed everyone. Oh geez. The farmer approaches. Why do you have blood on your overalls? Wow, that's funny. That's, well, funny's not the right word, but that's an interesting juxtaposition there where we have completely changed the roles like I was pointing out before. Am I supposed to type something in here? Wow, I actually am. I was attacked. Why do you have a knife? To defend myself. I heard moans. What have you done? Helped someone. Let me see what will happen to you. And that is where the story shall end, at least for now. It is up to the next player of this game to choose your fate, just as you chose for the previous player. Enter your first name. Enter your email address. Wow. Alright, well, I'll enter my email address, but I'll do that off camera. You will be emailed about your fate. Thank you for playing. Press space to submit your details. That is a really interesting concept. So we just keep revolving through the same story over and over again, and we just keep changing what happens. So last time, I stabbed the last person who played the game, and maybe I'll end up being stabbed by the next person. That is really interesting. So we're actually we're forming a narrative that gets passed on like a game of telephone in a way, although with similar facts each time. But now I'm starting to wonder about the red herring, which is supposed to be the key, right? Wasn't I supposed to get a key and go in that barn, or was that even a factor? Maybe I didn't play this exactly right. Maybe if I'd made a different decision, I would have been able to go somewhere else. But anyway, that is a very unique little narrative that we just played through. So I really enjoyed this experiment. I think you guys might want to try this yourself. I'm curious to know what my fate is going to end up being. And I'm curious to know what your guys' fate is going to end up being if you choose to play this as well. So if you want to go check out Moirai, you can go ahead and download it. The link is going to be in the description. It is totally free. Go grab it, try it out, and let me know what happens in the comments. I'm very interested in where this could keep going. It feels like this could end up being like a soap opera, and I would love to see this applied to a larger narrative where maybe there are a few key points in chapters that happen in a story that could end up forming and being put together in the same way. So it's very cool to be able to go through this, for the first time with you guys, having gone through that blindly. I had no idea what to expect or what was about to happen. So I feel a little bad that I've sort of spoiled some of that surprise, because I think that revelation towards the end was one of the big kind of payoff moments of it, but at the same time, the concept is strong regardless whether you know it or not. So that is going to be that for today's episode, guys. Please do let me know what you think of this one. I'm very curious to hear your feedback. And of course, if you enjoyed the episode, feel free to leave some support as well in the form of a like if you think I deserve one. And of course, be sure to check out some of my other information like my Facebook page, my Twitter, or even indie-impressions.com, which is my website where all of my other episodes get aggregated and are all sorted and tagged, so you can find specific types of games if you're looking for a specific genre, or even, a payment style if you're looking for just free games or online games, anything like that. But that's going to do it for another day, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I know it's a little bit of a shorter episode, but that's what happens sometimes with these experimental games. And I really like sometimes the bite-sized nature of a game like this, where it's just a short little experience. You don't have to necessarily put in 20 hours to get the payoff. It's just sort of like, here's what we're going for, and, we deliver very quickly. So, especially when I play games constantly, it's nice to have a few that I can just finish in one go. I don't know if that necessarily applies to everyone, but that's my perspective on it anyway. So I hope to see you guys back again tomorrow. New episodes are every single day, so I look forward to seeing you again then, and I hope you have a lovely night. Talk to you later.